Hey Internet, my name is Abby and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program on Wings. We are here with our stranded Redirector 1000 mission and we try to land on the moon, but unfortunately as I approach the moon, you can see it here, the engine is a little bit longer than the landing struts, and in this case I aborted the landing and I ascended right away back into orbit around the moon, but unfortunately the spacecraft has also a little fuel problem, so it can't return back to Kerbin, and in this case we need to somehow bring some fuel up here to rescue Optop, Handler and Tom Kerbin. And I came to the perfect solution because we have already some fuel in space. We have our... no, we have the... okay, it's hard to click through it, but we have our refueling mission from the... well, then switch to the asteroid redirect mission, and hopefully from here we can switch over to the our refueling mission. There are no new... okay, this maybe switch to... yeah, this case, now it's working. Okay, we have our refueling mission currently in the shadow of Kerbin, and it's well, the Redirector 500, the asteroid redirect mission, is about 10 kilometers ahead of us, but this is also a little problem because we are exactly at the same orbit as the asteroid redirect mission, and when we want to launch up to the moon we might run into it when we accelerate. So in this case at first I need to change a little bit the orbit of my refuel mission, and then I will do the burn up to the moon and finally have a chance to refuel my other mission currently stranded around the moon, the Redirector 1000, and by doing so we can even find out if the advanced grabbing unit is also useful for transferring some fuel. It should be doable, and it should be okay that I can bring over some fuel via the advanced grabbing unit, but I haven't tested it yet, and in this case it's a good time to test that out, and then I think we are really well prepared for our asteroid redirect mission. In this case, let me at first speed a little bit up so that we have a sunrise, like almost. There we can start to see the sun. I want to enjoy the sunrise with you. Let's switch off the interface and make it maybe like this. Yes, perfect. This looks amazing. This looks amazing. Very nice. Okay, after we've seen this, I like to just raise the periapsis, no, the apoapsis a tiny bit, so that we can maybe have it at around 160 kilometers or so. And by doing so, or 170 kilometers, this is good enough. So in this case we have changed a little bit the orbit, and we hopefully won't run into our Redirector 500 mission and put our asteroid redirect mission in danger. And now it's time to set the moon as our target because we want to fly up there, and I think maybe around here or so. Let me add a maneuver. We need to do our burn, and let's reduce it a bit. Okay, we need to do the burn even over there. So where do we need to do the burn? We need to do it here. What do we have there? 179. It's no, 197. 123. That's too less. And 42. I think 42 is good. Yeah. Burn is coming up in half an hour. In this case, let me just do a quick time warp so that we can do the burn up to the moon. And yeah, the trajectory change or the orbit change has worked perfectly. We are now increasing our distance to the asteroid redirect mission. This is very nice. And yeah, so we are not in danger of running into it. This is perfect. This is great. And let me just turn around so that we can see Kerbin passing by. And we are now getting closer, and we are dropping in the nighttime side of Kerbin. And 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3, 2, 1, and let's have a stop here and aim for the maneuver node. So now it's up for us to burn up to the moon, like now. Let's throttle up. and let's fly over there. I think we will have enough fuel when we arrive there that we can refuel our Redirector 1000 so that it has enough fuel to return back to Kerbin and hopefully have a gently splash down in the ocean. And yeah, this would be pretty amazing. And then we have deorbited some space debris, and speaking of space debris, once we have refueled the Redirector mission, I think this thing will be out of fuel and it will become space debris as well, so we will deorbit the thing and we want to have it impacting the moon. And here, so this is the goal for today I like to achieve. And then I think it's time to wait for us for the asteroid to arrive at the sphere of influence of Kerbin so that we can hopefully have a rendezvous with it and hopefully capture it. And then we need to see, maybe, as I said, I like to have it orbiting around the moon, but I'm not quite sure how I can do this in the best way. And yeah, so it's an exciting time. And now let me just slow it down a bit and cut the engine. Very nice, 97 kilometers, good enough. And we will have our moon encounter in 4 hours and 32 minutes. In this case, let me just speed up in time. And goodbye, Kerbin. We will never see us again. Well, the refueling mission will never see you again. And in this case, we are now approaching the moon. We are getting closer. Only 2 hours until we arrive at the moon, and then the most exciting thing is we need to have a rendezvous with our Redirector 1000 mission, and in this case we have now changed the sphere of influence to the moon. Let me get rid of the maneuver node, and I want to Redirector 1000. I want to set it as a target, and then I want to at first get captured by the moon. And what happens if I... Okay, this thing is ahead of us. In this case, I think I will insert myself in a quite high orbit so that the Redirector 1000 can catch us, because I don't want to get lower to it, because it's the periapsis is at 10 kilometers and the apoapsis at 32 kilometers. Or maybe if I insert myself into a 10 by 10 kilometer orbit, maybe this would work as well. Maybe work even a little bit faster than if I need to do the whole time to wait until the other spacecraft has caught up to us. In this case, let me just see, 9 kilometers, and I like to have it at 11. 11 is, I think, good enough. In this case, let us speed up again, so that we can do our capture burn by Kerbin, not by Kerbin, by the moon, for the moon, and don't overshoot with the leg. And, okay. Now it's time to look for the maneuver node. Down there is our target, I guess. This would be amazing. Okay, so let me now do the burn so that we get captured by the moon. What about the fuel situation? Yeah, we have enough fuel, or at least we bring up enough fuel so that we can refuel or make sure that our Redirector 1000 can return back to Kerbin. And I need to watch over the periapsis. The periapsis should be around 10 kilometers and 11. Okay, 10 kilometers, very nice. And now it's time to go over to the periapsis, and we need also to lower our apoapsis to, let's see, 12 kilometers, 10 by 10. This is good enough, so then we will hopefully catch up to our spacecraft, which is a little bit ahead of us, and the burn will come up in 25 minutes, so let me just do another time warp. And we can see the moon passing by. I pretty much like the moon. I really like the moon, and I like to land more often on the moon. I think this is really a cool celestial body, or maybe I even like more Minmus, I'm not quite sure. Well, I like both moons of Kerbin, and yeah, I think it's exciting enough for me to just visit the moons of Kerbin instead doing these huge interplanetary missions. But well, it's also interesting to visit other planets. But on the other hand, as I said, I like pretty much the celestial bodies and the moons of Kerbin, and they're exciting enough to explore and to do some landings there. And now we've done our burn, and what have we achieved? We have a moon peri. Oh, the moon periapsis is a little bit too low. I'd like to raise it again to above 10 kilometers. So let me just do this. 10 kilometers, 11 kilometers. This is good enough. And okay, we are now doing an orbit, and after one orbit... Oh well, wait, let me just add a maneuver node here. So what do we have? Well, then we are catching up to it. So if we are at this position, increasing a little bit then the thing... No, then we are ahead of it. Huh? Which point do I need to do my burn? Okay, I think this will take some time to find the right maneuver node and to find the right spot to do the rendezvous. In this case, let me just play with it around and do maybe some time warp, and I will bring you back in once we have set up everything and once we are preparing for the rendezvous. Okay, we are back, and I am already only 3.2 kilometers away from our Redirector 1000. So I have done several orbits. I think it was about 2 orbits or so, and now I have caught up to my Redirector 1000, and now it's time to do the rendezvous. In this case, we are still 3 kilometers away from it. I like to adjust a little bit our trajectory. In this case, on the one hand, I need to move it right, or I need to move our prograde and retrograde vector directly on top of the markers on the nav ball for our target. And then I like to increase a little bit our relative velocity towards the target so that we can approach it a little bit faster, and 25 meters per second is good enough. Okay, now it's the usual rendezvous process. Well, the main difference is that we are doing it in an orbit around the moon, and not as normally in an orbit around Kerbin. But I think I need to do now the burn to come to a stop. We are only 300 meters away. Very nice, very nice. And then it's time to switch over to the Redirector 1000, because they need to do the actual docking or the actual grabbing of my fuel, because they have the advanced grabbing unit, and yeah, so this is their task to get their fuel. And let's see that we can get as close as possible to it before we will kill all of our relative velocity towards the Redirector 1000. And I think around 100 meters away is good enough. So now it's time to kill all of our relative velocity. And let's do the rest with RCS. So let me turn here, and we came to a stop. Amazing. Let's do just a quick save and just in case, and switch over to our Optor, Prendler, and Kerman and Tom Kerman crew. And now I like to, can I set this as a target so that I have my relative velocity indication? And now it's time to add the docking, or switch over to docking mode. And here now I need to aim a little bit for our target. In this case, let me enable RCS and start floating towards our target. And I like to grab it right on front of it, so I'm not destroying the solar panels, or I'm not running into the solar panels. I hope I can do this. I hope I can grab the thing very nicely, and then it's the exciting thing that I can find out if I can really transfer some fuel. This would be amazing, or it would be really problematic if now I discover, oh, I can't transfer some fuel. This would be really problematic and would screw everything, because then I would need to launch a second mission up here. But I hope everything will work out well. And the main challenge now is to grab this whole thing. Okay, the angle is not so good right now. Let me just slow down and kill all of our relative velocity like this. Okay, now I need to turn a little bit in this direction because I want to fly past it a bit. Now let's accelerate a bit so that we are flying parallel to it, because as I said, I want to grab it directly in the middle of it. And I think it's time to arm our grabbing unit, get out the grabbing hooks. This looks amazing. I pretty much like this. I hope these grabbing hooks won't destroy the fuel tank so that the fuel is leaking out with their sharp edges, and so this would be really problematic if the grabbing unit then kills the fuel tank. Okay, now let's turn towards it. And we have again, the good side of it is that we have our lights, and the lights are illuminating the refueling spacecraft, and now it's time to approach it. And again, I think I will, just before grabbing it, unset the target, or I might, let me see, I want to directly hit it in the middle, and then I will unset it as my target, because otherwise I think it will screw up again my indications, and this would be really problematic again. Okay, now let's slow down a bit, and we need to point our spacecraft a little bit more down so that we are directly grabbing it in the middle. Maybe like here-ish, hopefully. And come on. Let's slow down a bit. I hope this will work. No. Come on. Okay. We have grabbed it. We have contact. Amazing. Good job. Okay. Now let's see. We have fuel and in. Yes, it's flowing. Okay. We can get the fuel out of the refueling mission. This is amazing. This is really great. Okay, Tom is enjoying this. Optop and Handler are a little bit, uncertain about the situation. But I think as soon as they are on their way back home, they will start smiling again. Okay, now we have grabbed our fuel. So in this case, it's time to say release. Okay, I like to switch over to the refueling spacecraft again. Go back to staging. RCS, RCS could be useful again. First, I like to drift away a bit, like this. Okay, now let's switch off RCS. Let's aim for the retrograde vector. And let's do some RCS burns, retrograde, so that we can deorbit the thing, because, well, as you can see, it's out of fuel. Well, it has some electric charge, it has some monopropellant, but it has no liquid fuel at all, and this means it's pretty useless as a refueling station, and it would just orbit around the moon. But if I like to have something as a refueling station around the moon, I would design it a little bit differently. I would add more docking ports to it, and in this case, this thing is pretty much useless now, and we need to just deorbit it. And here, Mun periapsis is going down, and come on. It's gone. Okay. So in this case, this thing will impact the moon, and we can switch over to our, why are you called Refuel 100? Rename vessel. Redirector 1000. That's the right name. Okay. This was strange. But okay, and why do we have still a target? Unset target, okay. And now, as we are orbiting around the moon, it's time to set our... no, not this way. Let's kill this again and let's add a new maneuver node. This way. I want to leave the Mun and I want to return back to Kerbin. 165. Now we are dropping into Kerbin. 24. I think this is good enough. With this trajectory we could adjust a little bit when we are approaching it so that we have a splashdown, and then we can return with Optop, Handler and Tom Kerbin. In this case, here 12 minutes to go. Let me just do a quick time warp so that we can then do our burn after we have refueled. This is really amazing that everything worked out so well. And 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, stop, and we need now to turn toward the maneuver node over here. Okay, with the light you can still see where my spacecraft is. Let throttle up. Optop and Handler are a little bit scared. Tom is a little bit uncertain. Tom has really earned some great experiences. Our Optop and Handler, as I said in the last episode, are already experienced space pilots and astronauts, but Tom is pretty new to this project. And with the aborted landing on the Mun and the refueling from a refueling spacecraft coming up from Kerbin, has hopefully given him a great experience and great insights, so that Tom has also become a very well-trained astronaut. And now, as we are leaving the Mun, Optop, Handler and Tom are a little bit more smiling. Now they are happy. And before I forget this, I can now disarm my advanced grabbing unit. We won't need it anymore. The refueling spacecraft has already impacted the Mun. It's gone. So this is amazing, and we are now on our way back home. In this case, let us speed up in time. Let's see the Mun getting smaller and smaller as the camera is rotating around. The sun has risen above the Mun. And here we are now heading away from the Mun. Let's speed up a little bit in time. And now we have changed to Kerbin. Let me just check if we have a floating point error. No, we have not. So, in 4 hours, 4.5 hours, then we are back at Kerbin. So, where is Kerbin? There's Kerbin. Let us see how we are approaching to Kerbin. And now everyone is smiling, everyone is smiling. This is great. Now they are sure that they can return. I think they were a little bit scared after they get stuck around the Mun and after they had to abort the landing because of this construction error of my spacecraft. And yeah, now they are smiling because now they are aware that they are getting back home, and I think this is very important to them. So let me see. We have over here some desert. Kerbin will rotate a little bit around, and there is some ocean, but I think we will arrive there in 6 minutes, so Kerbin won't rotate so much. 23 kilometers will definitely bring us down. Kerbal Space Center would be over here. I don't think that we can make it. I think I can keep this trajectory, because this way we will definitely return to Kerbin, and I think we might even made it up to the ocean. So in this case, let us again speed up a little bit in time so that we can get closer. And now we are inside the atmosphere. In this case, let me just turn my spacecraft around to the side, like here, because now it's time to separate from all the other parts we won't need anymore. We need to separate from the advanced grabbing unit. We don't need it anymore, and we need also to separate. Let me just, for the better case, turn away from it, and now let's separate from the service module. Okay, we are now free. The only thing that is still to go is our parachutes. Okay, unfortunately we are not bringing back any signs because, well, of the aborted Mun landing. We hadn't had the time to do some signs. But well, we are at least getting back home. And yeah, we are already at 38 kilometers of altitude. I think as I start speaking about this, the re-entry effect starts to heat up our spacecraft. And my Kerbonauts are now happy. Oh, maybe we will have a landing directly on the desert. Well, okay, this could hopefully be okay. It's bad that we are doing this in the nighttime side, so we are not able to see anything. But well, I think we will have a landing in the desert, so it's like the return of the Soyuz capsule or so when it's landing in the deserts, or no, in the steppes of Kazakhstan. And yeah, we are doing it a little bit the same way than the Soyuz capsule. We are landing also in the desert or in the steppes of Kerbin. And here, Handler is now happy. Handler is really enjoying it. He knows he is back in the atmosphere. He is now surviving it. He is now returning back home. And well, he is really a very well experienced space flyer and pilot, and so it's glad that I'm bringing him back home. I think aside from Sidram Kerbin, Handler Kerbin is one of my most favorite Kerbonauts in the space program, because well, I have done so many great things with him, so yeah, I like him pretty much. And well, Sidram and Handler are pretty much my favorite guys. I should have put him also on the asteroid redirect mission. But well, at least Sidram is sitting there, and maybe Handler can have a flight up to the space station. And well, I talked about this, I like to improve a little bit the space station, so in this case, yeah, this will come up next once we are, or after we have captured the asteroid. And here, no, I think I should disable SAS, we don't need it anymore. And let me just speed up a little bit in time until we can pop our parachutes. It will happen around again at 5 kilometers. So it's about time now to pop them. So let me deploy them. Very nice. And it's nice that we have the light still going on, because now we are shedding some light onto our parachutes. This looks really amazing. They are now slowing us down by a significant degree. And well, we have some instruments on our capsule, so maybe this is still a different biome we haven't explored yet, so this is interesting. Okay, and now the parachutes have fully deployed. This is interesting with the light. And here I think we need to speed up a little bit to have the landing. And okay, I think now it's time to stop. I hope you will survive this. Once you hit the ground, it's a little bit fast. And Spelunk. Okay, we are back. Let's see. Crew report. Kerbin's grasslands. Okay, research experiments. Can we use any of these? Gravity data. Oh, we haven't done this. After reading the manual a few times, the command team is able to take an accurate reading of the local gravity. 6 signs. Okay, let's keep this. And the log seismic data. Gathered precise acceleration data while subjecting the vessel of the situation to the situation. Okay, keep it. And temperature, log temperature. Okay, we have already done a temperature reading. Okay, very nice. So, in this case, it's time to recover the vessel after our 3 Kerbonauts have returned. Let's do this. Okay, this mission gave us 32 signs. Nice. We have seismic scan from Kerbin's grassland, 6 signs. We have gravity scan from Kerbin's grassland, 6 signs. Recovery of a vessel returned from a suborbital flight on the Moon. Huh. I never thought about having a suborbital flight, that this will count as a different experiment. This is amazing. We have unlocked an experiment by aborting our landing. This is pretty exciting. This is great. I haven't expected something like this. Okay, good job. And now, before we come to the end of this episode, I will only do one thing, and this is, I already talked about the driving section V2, that this has a very unfriendly orbit concerning a refueling mission, and in this case it's approaching currently the Kerbin periapsis in 11 minutes, so I will lower down the Kerbin apoapsis so that we have also a circularized orbit for the driving section V2. And in case we want to refuel it, we can do this very easy, because then it's in a more circular orbit and this is much easier to approach. And in this case we have here our driving section V2. It has some liquid fuel, or it's more empty. I think I was thinking more about this amount of fuel as I approached the driving section from the Duna constellation. And now let me just add a maneuver node. Oh, we can even do it in the daylight. This is amazing. This is great. So let me just do a short time warp. And here, 5 minutes, 4, 3. Come on, come on, come on. 2, 1. Okay, let's come to a stop here. I think I like to... No. I need to slow down. I like to do it just from the orbital view. Let's turn over here. Very nice. And here, okay, let's see. Let's enable the numbers. Get the nav ball out. And let's start doing the burn. I like to get it down. I like to circularize it mostly. So I like to have it orbiting around in an altitude of 100 by 100 kilometers. And oh, this thing, 1 day. Okay, apparently it's 1 day and 19 hours after our Joule constellation or our Joule mission has returned. So this is not very long, especially if I think that my cosmonaut or myself are currently orbiting again around Kerbin, and yeah, so it was not a very long break. But well, science has some efforts, and in this case we don't have time to have a break. We need to go up to space right away. Just after landing, we need to get back to space. Okay, and let's see, 100. Okay, 136. I think we need to do 1 revolution or 1 orbit to circularize it. In this case, let me just add the maneuver node over here. Unfortunately, we have to do this again in the nighttime side most of the time, but we can see the beautiful sunset. Let me just do this, and sunset. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, oh, I need to get the thing out because I need to see the numbers and the estimated time when we arrive at the maneuver node. And sunrise. Amazing. This is great. This is really great. And come on, 10 minutes to go, 9 minutes. There's Kerbal Space Center. As we are passing by, there's the moon. And 4, 3, 2, 1. And stop. Good job. Okay, 1 orbit, 1 fast orbit around Kerbin. And now it's time to do the second burn. Let's get the number, or not. Maybe. Yeah, let's get the number, and let's throttle up again to reduce our apoapsis again. And well done. 100 by 101. Okay, the orbit is circularized, so we have the driving section V2 at an 100 by 100 orbit. We have our science station at an orbit by 150 by 150. We have Sagittarius at an orbit by 200 by 200. And well, we have currently still the Redirector 500 at an orbit by 143 by I don't know. And well, in a short amount of time the thing will leave and aim for the asteroid approaching us. But this was one thing I really like to do, that now the thing is more friendly to be refueled. It still has some fuel left in it, this is pretty good. But yeah, this will now wrap up today's episode, so thank you so much for watching, and in the next episode we will definitely have some asteroid things going on, because now we have practiced a little bit more the advanced grabbing unit. We even transferred some fuel through it, and now it's a good position or a good time to really do the main science operation and the main science mission to capture an asteroid, and this will happen in the next episode. So until then, my name is Abby. See you!